Hello.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Rose, as I would hope a lot of you know anyway. But today we have the Hounds of Haides, and as I need to make sure the name is switched correctly, as Rose forgot to hit a button. Um, there we go. I fixed it, like we're used to. Pro streamer, not. Uh,
All good.
But today we have the Hounds of Hades and Mr. Michio with us today, and I will let him introduce himself.
So, hey all. My name's Michio Kepler. Been playing Eve since 2013 now. Only a short gap, maybe 2 years in all since playing. But yeah, we're the Hounds of Hades, and we're part of Shadow Ultimatum, based down in Faith. So yeah, glad to be here. Thank you.
Hey, absolutely fantastic. Um, so the thing that really struck me when we were talking was the name and how it's interesting spelling. And with that, like, how was the Hounds of Hades with the eye throws me off, and I love it. But how did you guys kind of come up with that name, and where did it originate?
Yeah, sure. So it's a little bit before my time. So the Corp was founded back in 2014, and all I know is that the reason it's spelt with an I rather than the regular way was that the Corp name was taken at the time, and the I spelling actually comes from the Greek spelling of Hades, which is I guess there's a lot of history there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of where it came from. Um, so yeah, and we've been sort of rocking it ever since. I know there's lots of questions sometimes that people come in and say, "Hey, you got the name wrong." No, we haven't. It's just the Greek spelling.
I absolutely love it, and I love that just little touch of history and all of that, and it's really fitting, I guess, for the episode to mention. Hey, we're not just Eve history in this. Apparently, we have some Greek history too. Um, but with such an awesome name and using the spelling, um, can you kind of tell me how you guys started and some of the history of the corp?
Yeah, this might take a time, so
Take your
strap
time.
yourselves in because it's a wild ride, and it's going to go from sort of extreme happiness to the extreme other end. So I'll give you good warning. There's a lot of drama and lots of antics. It wouldn't be Eve without all that, right? So we got to go back to 2014. Ultimately, that's when the corp started. It started out of Tech M in the Great Wildlands, and for a long time, the corp was a low sec corp, and the corp actually featured in a couple of news articles, believe it or not, back then. And it was mostly because of the Logi Bros that were inside the corp at that time. So there was a couple of good fights. I think it was over Pocos at the time, um, and for some weird reason. And yeah, the Hounds got the name really from some of these fights, and kind of the banding together that happened at that point, and they kind of formed a nice corp. So it was actually formed by a husband and wife team at the time. I can't remember the name of the husband's name, but it was really well. It was a lady called Viandra, who formed Hounds of Hades to start with, and most of the hounds that are in the corp at the moment remember the corp from when we joined Razor. So yeah, I know it's this is going back a long, long way back to a time when Razor weren't as a shell of themselves as they are now. But this was probably 2015, I want to say 2015, 2016. So the Hounds joined the corporation then, and me and a small segment joined the corporation at this point. We're based up in Teenall, so way, way up in the far north of Eve, and it was good. We'd always punched above our weight. Um, really, kind of always pushed the limits, I guess, of what was capable. I mean, we were a smaller corp even back then, and we were always kind of looking for fights. whether it was just home defense type stuff or going into the big alliance/coalition fleets. We'd always sort of punched above our weight, which has always been kind of a key thing for Hounds. Now, in Razor, things weren't particularly great. So I always remember that people used to talk about, the amazing Razor super fleet, the amazing Razor super fleet, and it's there, it's one of the biggest in the Imperium and all this kind of stuff. Now, we can fast forward a little bit to the Casino War. We found out otherwise. We found that it was a little bit of a paper giant, and everything fell apart quite quickly. But previous to that, and I guess the first element of drama comes in from how I became CEO. So we mentioned V before.
Yeah.
So it was a husband and wife team. They had quite a close, tight unit of friends and everything else like this. And V was in Razor at this point. And out of the blue one day, they came to me and basically said, "Yep, do you know what? We're kind of finished with the whole nullsec thing. We don't really enjoy it. We want to go back to lowsec. We're going to find the good fights back there and everything else." And obviously, by that point, the corporation had grown quite a bit. And yeah, a lot of the members decided, no, wait, we want to stay put where we are. So it went out in a court meeting, some dark and stormy night sometime, I'm sure. And somehow, I don't really know how it happened, but somehow I ended up being CEO just to try and keep the corp where it was and keep the group, because it was, even at that point, the corporation was such a kinship. It was such a tight unit, So we kind of stayed behind, and everything was amicable. They went away and started their own thing. Now here comes the drama. So I then discovered the mechanics around shares in the game. So again, maybe a week or two later, I got notification that someone was trying to claim the court back from underneath of us, and obviously that wasn't great. So I got in contact with V and the rest of the team that had decided to split away from the corp at this point. And they said, no, we're not really happy about losing the corp, and we want to take it back. So there was a bit of to and froing, and we decided that, well, it wasn't really a decision. It was more of a blackmail thing. I actually had to pay quite a bit of ISK to keep the corp at that point. So, but it was that important.
Yeah.
Keeping the group together, because I was worried that if we kind of started something new, we'd end up losing a lot of our players, and we'd have to start again almost. And it really wasn't what we was about, and we'd invested a lot of time and effort into infrastructure and what have you in Tenor. So we end up paying it, and to be fair, the shares came my way, and after that was kind of where the drama on that stage finished. However, they did go ahead and form Hounds 2.0. So if you do search the name, you may see that one pop up. I think it's long dead. So the original has outlasted the reincarnation of their group. I'm not sure if any of them play anymore, but that was kind of where I took the reins. Kind of, it just kind of happened by accident, I guess. I'm not really sure how, why sometimes, but there you go. Yeah. So I guess next part of the story probably comes into the Casino War we mentioned before. So it was a bit of a shock. It happened very quickly. I wasn't really aware of most of the goings on in the coalition at the time, and obviously what was happening. And I guess the only features of that war that I remember, if it's the right one, my timeline's a bit fuzzy. We're going back quite a few years now, but I remember the CO2 defection and being in a hurricane fleet at that time. Midway through the battle, we were trying to defend this keep star, and all of a sudden it switched sides, and it was an absolute mess, the whole thing. It really was. But we quickly found out that actually the Razor Alliance wasn't as strong as people had been promising us and telling us, and the capitals seemed to vanish into thin air. And before we knew it, we had the drone walkers from the north and from the drone regions coming over and ripping down the sov and whatnot. And for some strange reason, it was only Hounds that sort of stayed behind and tried to keep things alive for as long as possible, at least try and give them a fight. But I think we saw the writing was on the wall. We then obviously moved. I can't remember, to the low sec system just outside Delve. I can't remember the name of the system. It's beyond me at the moment. But we moved down there, and then suddenly it happened just as quickly as the Razor leadership decided, no, we don't want to be in the Imperium anymore. And it was a really tough time, to be honest with you, because I mean, me and most of the other court members at this point had always been some way related to either the CFC or the Imperium, as it's obviously now later known.
Yes.
And it was a tough time, but we had some other friends inside some of the other corporations and alliance at this point. So we decided to sort of ride the storm, and we ended up in the far-flung region of Peregrine Falls. It wasn't the best place to be, I have to say. It was a little bit of a remote area. However, we got ourselves set up, and we found a nice little system called Fortec M, which I think at the time was maybe 1 or 2 jumps away from the Alliance kind of holding point. And we got ourselves set up. We started to rebuild. I do remember fondly us as a group starting to really bond really well. However, there was a growing fracture between the corporation and the Alliance itself, right? So I found that we were very close. We found ourselves hanging out more and more and more on the corporation kind of comms and everything else. And we had a couple of issues and fallouts with some of the Alliance themselves. They weren't really about undocking. It reminds me of a modern day Alliance that we're fighting at the moment, right? So they weren't really on.
The one that consistently blue balls us? Yes.
That'll be the one. Yes.
I know who you mean.
Yeah, so we were getting frustrated with that because we were constantly getting, roaming groups coming through, groups attacking stuff around us, and there was sort of no response. And it was getting frustrating to the point where it was kind of just Hounds as a group getting on comms going, okay, let's try and do something about this best as we can.
Yeah.
No, we did well. We did well, and we kind of grew that kind of kinship as I talked about before, and it kind of really cemented ourselves as this kind of not just the court, but a place where like friends hang out, which has always been a core bit of Hounds, I guess. And from that point onwards, they had the raw core changes. We had all this kind of stuff going on, and I guess in some ways we pioneered some of that. So some of the early tests, some of the early builds coming out the back of all that, we try to take advantage of. And at the time, Razor was dead against it all. Again, they just kind of had this thing about us just staying docked and waiting for, sometime in the future where the planets may align. And they didn't really like us, and we, in the end, we decided that we wanted a change of scenery. We did actually go to an alliance called Blades of Grass, very, very temporarily, I think. One of the main reasons it didn't really work for us at the time was that we didn't really fit. We were constantly getting in trouble for breaking the family-friendly rules to save our language and everything else. So we got in trouble for that, and not that we're too bad, but we still broke all the rules, and we didn't really make a good fit. And someone within Razor at that point said, "You know what? Hang on a minute. Let's try and reconcile. Let's try and make amends." So we gave him a second shot. To be fair, and came back there, and things kind of just become tired and dull, despite this reconciliation and despite the promises that were made, it kind of this fracture just grew a bit wider and wider, to the point really where we decided that it was probably a mistake at the time, if I'm completely honest. Looking back on it, but we decided to look for the bright lights of Tino again. We kind of consider that to be one of our home regions. So we reached out to a group called Just Let It Happen, and they were based in Tino at the time, and they were enemies of Razor at the time too. So we had this kind of stealthy ninja capital chain going up through the drone regions, jump freighters backwards and forwards. It was extremely hectic at the time. And midway through the move, I think most of us got up to, is it Cobalt Edge right at the top? Then there was a keep star there. I can't remember the name of the system it was in. But halfway through there, someone got wind of what was happening and they pulled the plug. And we got kicked from the alliance midway through the move. So we had a bunch of carriers, including a couple of supers, I think, stuck in this hostile keep star.
Oh God.
And we managed to get quite a few of these out, but we did get trapped. So it was a hell of a game to try and get ourselves sorted again after that. So a lot of planning, a lot of waiting and patience. But I think 2 months later, a load of us planned a date, some weekend sometime, just after downtime, where we literally undocked from this hostile keep star and just jumped everything away. And somehow made it. I don't know. It was one of those, we're just going to do it now. I couldn't sell it. We'd been on strict orders no one was to buy the stuff from us. We were kind of enemies of the state at this point. So we jumped it out. We got into Tino, and it was a good job. It was a good job.
Hell yeah.
And we stayed there for a good couple of months up in Tino, right? So I remember the system. It was 7 Tech D or something like that. We were 7D Tech, even, should I say. We was based up there for quite some time, and we were fitting in with the Alliance. Lots of fun fleets, including fighting with the Alliance that had kind of, thrown us under the bus. So there was a lot of hatred at this point. I think it's fair to say there was a bit of cloaky camping and stuff going backwards and forwards, and all this good drama that comes with this kind of thing, right? So there was a lot of that going on. We'd put up fights. We even had an Astra at the time, literally on the undock almost of their main staging fort. And I remember all the Hounds going down there with loads of Alliance members, defending this thing and taking down as many of their fighters and everything else as possible, because they were doing the whole how was it called? And they sit on their structure and send all their fighters in. Yeah. So that was going on. It was completely hectic. We burnt down as much as we could, and gave them good fights. And sooner or later, obviously that structure then fell. I think it was just difficult getting fuel into it and everything else in the end. So that one fell, and we started to reconcile up in the north. At this point, though, I remember logistics being really difficult and people a little bit burnt out from all the moving and all the shenanigans we'd been under. So although it was great in Tino, we had a fantastic time. We then had PL come up into the north and decide, this space is now ours. You guys have got to leave. And it came as a shock. I think we had like a week and a half to leave. At this point, I don't think we were ready to put up too much of a fight. And besides, we had a lot of our assets there, and we just kind of went to get them out. So I remember selling quite a few things to them, and just trying to evacuate as much as possible in a really, really short space of time. So I remember being really kind of sick of the jump freighter at that point. I remember that much. So we got ourselves back to Lowsec, and then we joined a group called, was it the Hell's Pirates? Hell's Pirates, that's right. I think they were based down in where Tri were at the time, if I remember rightly. Innsmother, that's the system I was looking for. So we were down in Innsmother for some time. Now we actually had a fairly decent time here. I think we were kind of all rocked by the amount of movement and changes that were happening, and everything else that was kind of part of Hounds at this point. And I think the main issue we had at this point was we had a director called Wrexham Darkbrew. Now, very very sadly, this guy, he passed away in real life, and it was honestly harrowing, to hear it, because this guy had been our friend. He'd been one of the group, one of our kind of friends. We're talking to every day. We played other games other than Eve together and everything else like that. So we were a really really tight knit group at this point, and it came as a complete shock to us. And I think at this point we kind of just burnt out, or started to burn out. So I think it was around 2018 we decided to take a hiatus. So I stayed in the Imperium and went with another group, and most of us did the same. But it wasn't quite the same with obviously staying in Hounds with losing Rex, because he'd built a lot of the corporation as well, and it was really really sad. It was a really dark time. Now I won't go into it too much, but I know there's lots of help out there for people, especially like the broadcast for reps. I know that was an Eve charity for a long time, and that's all I'm going to say on it. It was a really, really sad moment, and obviously, I hope that never happens to anyone else
I do
inside the game.
have a broadcast for reps thing that occasionally pops up. If I can get it to pop up. Anyway, it popped up just a little bit before Eve IP. Thank you for the prime on that one. Right before that, there is something that does say, hey, if you need help outside of Eve, please reach out to here. We all care about everybody who is. I recognize names in here, and I care, and not seeing the same names as, hey, if you're burnt out, if you need somebody to reach out to, I include the link. That I've actually even reached out to them to see if they are willing to talk about their history. I haven't quite got there yet, but I'm waiting on it. But yeah, definitely. Please keep in mind that resource is always here. It's always on for me, and I am always usually here. If I'm on, you can pop in and go, hey, I'm not having so hot of a day. I will just talk to you. If you just want to sit and be quiet, you can come and hang out with me. I will do all the talking. I have a bad habit of doing that. But I really want to push that resource as something, if it's needed. I know the first Goon Corp I was in, we actually lost two of our members who had passed away from cancer, from various things, cancers, etc. We lost them when the corp got wiped. They kicked all the members out, including the ones who had passed, and we can't get them back. And the broadcast for reps they're absolutely fantastic. I've popped in their Discord and just been like, hi, and talked to people and been like, hey, here's resources, here's links. You're in Indonesia or in another country, I will find you, I will help you find resources in there. So definitely, that is somewhere that I am a wholehearted champion on. So this is my little spiel on that.
No, absolutely, it's super important, and as you know, I'm 100% behind it as well. I mean, it's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it, as much as it's a sad occasion to talk about it. But I will get to a better place with that in time, and it's one of our achievements to come up later as well. So yeah, at this point we kind of burnt ourselves out with the moving, and obviously with what happened here with Rex. One thing I will say was that he was that close to us that actually we had left, or the corporation itself had left messages for Rex and for his actual funeral, and they were actually read out, at the time. So that's kind of how much the Hounds meant to him and what he meant to us, sort of thing. So it was really a beautiful thing. As much it's sad. I'm trying not to get too emotional talking about it, but
You're
it was
okay.
it was really tough. It was tough. It was tough on all of us. It really was. Um, so I'll fast forward a little bit. So there was a hell of a lot to go on. We had um, 2018. I think we kind of left the corporation at that point. We'd all gone our separate ways to a degree, and I think I definitely stayed inside the Imperium, so I got to see some of the other famous battles and everything else. And yeah, shout out to Black Squadron, who they were at the time. They were a good corporation. In fact, some of them did actually come on from Hounds, actually come and join me there, and then we reformed later. But yeah, for fast forward a little bit longer, I had taken a break for me for probably 2 to 3 years, I think, maybe 2 years, something like this, and was back in October of last year. And one of my directors at the time, Reaper's Tears, a big shout out to you. Great guy. I've known him since started playing Eve, and we were just discussing in chat about the old times, as you do, reminiscing of the great battles and the wonderful things that had happened in the past. And we decided, what, it's time. The time had come to get this corporation back together again and find all the old hounds, find all the old heads, bring them back together again. But we made a promise at this point, right? We made a promise that Wrexham was massively into the corporation and was he's a huge part of what we had. So we decided whatever we was going to do, we decided that we were going to anchor something in honor of him as a memorial. So that was kind of the conditions that we put the corp under at the time, right? So yeah, about October time, we reached out to Charles and the team, Shadow Ultimatum. I know you've had Charles on the program before, right? So
Yes.
a big shout out to all the Shadow guys, if you're in here, because they're a great bunch.
Oh, they absolutely are.
And yeah, so they offered us a home and a roof and a place for us to grow and to get the team back together, as it were. So we very slowly started getting the old heads back, as well as some new as well. And we got some fantastic people in with us now that have really kind of slipped into the exactly the same hounds that we knew and loved, which is really powerful and really, really amazing. I mean, I actually love the Corp and the group we've got going on right now. So we all started to band together, and we've been slowly growing back here in which was esoteric at the time, but now we moved to faith and started to establish ourselves. So I guess that's a really long, well, not long, but a very sort of top level view of everything that happened. A lot of
Yeah.
drama.
I mean, honestly, I love the showing that, well, we tried this and it didn't really work and we left and they're like, oh, hey, we tried, you want to come back? I love seeing the, well, and I don't want to, I mean, I like seeing the perspective of the other side going, hey, look, we'll do something, and oh, they didn't. And I like seeing the, hey, we're here, we have a home, we're making sure that, hey, our our in-game family is being cemented, remembered. I love seeing it. And so that kind of leads me into the next question with that is, so with kind of all of the back and forth, all of the drama, all of the stuff, what made Hounds of Hades kind of choose the Imperium as a home? Or, in this case, it'd be Shadow as a home.
I think in all, most of us had been part of the Imperium or the CFC as it was before for most of our time in Eve. I mean, I go way back to Fatal Ascension, way back in Fountain, way back when. In fact, one of my strange claims to fame is that I used to mine with Apple Pear. um,
Nice.
up in Fountain a long, long time ago. So yeah,
Mr. Confused
we
Fruit.
were up there. Yeah, he's a great guy. He really is. And yeah, we'd made some loads of good friends in Imperium over all this time, right? So we were based up there for a while, and obviously then I think various members from the group have all been in the Imperium to some degree too. So it felt like a natural home, right? And we were very small at the time, looking for an alliance, and at the time, just before forming the corp, I was in Sigma. So a big shout out to those guys. They're a great group
Yep.
as well. Really nice. Um, and we were looking for a place. I'd heard loads of good things about Shadow, and that they were kind of like they were working like a big corporation. With lots of people in comms, discussion, talks, and a really good feel about the community. And I felt like that really fitted in with what Hounds were about, and yeah, it felt like a natural fit. So I spoke to Charles, I spoke to Ock, and everything just was just gelling for us. So it felt like a natural home.
Yeah. I absolutely understand. I've done fleets with Charles. I've hung out with Charles. So I've hung out with quite a few of the corps from Shadow, and it's it's very tight knit, and I absolutely love that. And it's oh hi, you're Rose. Come here, friend. Big ol' hug, and I'm just like, okay, Lee, no, you don't. No, it's my time to talk. As the teenagers are probably playing Smash Brothers out in the living room, but 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 absolutely, I love the oh hey, we know you. You want to go do some stuff? You want to go do like dumb PvP shit? Hell yeah, I'm here with you. Let's go. Like just your family now. We're gonna go do things and go have fun, and it's kind of, and it reminds me very much of what I joke that I do in games. It's yoink, you're my friend now. Yoink, you're my friend now. And I got yoinked and now I'm your friend now. So it's having the reverse experience is pretty awesome. And I absolutely agree that Shadow is a fantastic place to be, and to have that really tight knit community, even in such a large over setting of a game like Eve. If I can English correctly, that might help.
It's all good.
So, kind of with that, can you tell me about some of the awesome stuff that Hounds does for its members? And I ask this, and I have to ask this every time. Are you guys recruiting?
We absolutely are. So we're recruiting at the moment. We are a little bit picky. Again, and I think the main criteria is the person going to be able to fit in with the Hounds family as such. That's always been quite key. But we're absolutely recruiting, and in terms of cool stuff we do, so we've just recently acquired a new FC as part of the Hounds team as well. So a big shout out to Doc Doom. He's a great guy. Between me and him, we're doing a little bit more FCing and trying to get some more content going. So we got that, not just as a corp, but as part of the alliance as well, which is really cool to see. But also we do SRP. So corp flicks are SRP'd. Home defense stuff is SRP'd, within reason, of course. And yeah, we've got quite a few industrial infrastructure bits and pieces and projects going on within the corp. So everyone's kind of been a big contributing factor to that, not just in Hounds, of course, but within Shadow as a larger group too. So yeah, I'm absolutely recruiting, and if you're interested at all, please drop by the Hound Tavern, and we'll be happy to talk to you.
I was gonna say you. I know you guys have an in-game channel. That's I believe so. I believe that's how I got your Discord. That's how I get a lot of Discords is hopping in the in-game channel, and then usually the
Absolutely.
Discord's there, and then I go, "Hey, can I talk to somebody?" And sometimes most of the time they're like, "Sure." Sometimes they're like, okay," and I'm like, well, it's a wall of text, what I'm about to send you, and I don't want to leave it on your Discord doorstep because it'd be really fucking rude. So, all of the time of me just going and poking people, and I tend to find people through in-game channels, and I believe Hounds has one. So, honestly, if you guys are interested in Hounds, pop by, say hello, look into their stuff, see if you might be interested, or if you might be if it might be the right fit for you. But so kind of as a we've got you recruiting. It sounds like you do some really awesome stuff with the SRP as well. Are there any big accomplishments that Hounds has that you can talk about in a public fashion?
Yeah, I think so. So one of the things we said about forming the corp, or reforming the corp, should I say, back in October last year, was to anchor some sort of monument to Wrexham. So we did. We actually managed to rescue a Satoyo, and it was stuck in an asset safety system in Malden Heath, in a really hostile system, and it was just one of those moments. We found a wormhole in the system that was very large, that was going to high sec. We pushed it through with a freighter. Don't ask how. It was a, a little bit of a tricky time, shall we say, to put it in a family PG saying, you know. So we got it through, and then it was just a case of patiently waiting for another wormhole to open up towards Esoteria slash Faith, and with the help of the Alliance 2, we managed to push that freighter through, and now it's on the undock of one of our staging systems as a memorial to Rex. So I'm really happy about that.
Hell yeah, that is. I love that it was a rescued one too. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
the
Yeah, it
fact.
was really, really tough to get that out. Um, Other things, though, that we're really proud of. So, as I said, we've always punched above our weight, and in terms of fleet participation in the alliance, I think pound for pound, every month we're more or less towards the top. You know, and that's a great place to be. It really is nice, and you know, I'm super happy and thankful for all the members of the corporation that, you know, kind of following on with the Hounds legacy and making stuff happen. It's really great, and I'm so happy to be, you know, still part of this great group.
Well, I absolutely love that you guys rescued one from up there and moved it in a unconventional, shall we say, fashion. And now you guys are. And anytime that I see you guys are always really friendly as well. And, like, I see you guys in fleets. I see Hounds of Haides in fleets. That's actually. You're gonna laugh, but that's how I found the corp. And was like,
Well,
hey,
that's great to hear.
I should poke them and say hi and maybe go, hey, do you guys want to come talk to me? And that's how we ended up here. And me noted, and like that's how I usually find people is hey, you're on a fleet. Have I talked to your corp yet? No. Oh, hi, friend. That's tends to be how I do things, and it's the randomness that is. But so we've gone through all the history, we've gone through some of the drama, we've gone through some of the sadness, we've gone through, you know, hey, how you guys came to be part of Shadow. With all of the questions answered, is there anything left that needs to be said about Hounds of Haides and the people that you need to say that people need to know?
Yeah, I think it's back to the kind of the real the top line point about the corp is the fact that we're so close. So that's kind of the way we like to be. We're a very close unit. Definitely a lot of, I'm trying to think of the right word here. Together as a group, they're like a kinship almost. I think that's probably the best way of describing it.
Yeah.
And we got each other, and when people are having a rough time, even if it's out of game, happy to support, happy to chat, make sure everyone's all right, which is really key. And no, we're a really close group, and I really love the way kind of the corps kind of grown back. We're in a great environment for that growth to happen. And within the Imperium, we've got lots of other friends as well. So they'll hate me for saying it, but a shout out to TN Fed as well in Sigma. So they're great guys there too. But yeah, I'm really happy with how everything's going, and yeah, I'm happy to be here too and talking about it. So thank you very much for inviting me onto the show.
Honestly, I started this with I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's see if I can even get somebody to talk to me. And now we're on episode 14 of 14 or of 12 different corps. That's not including the history of University. That's not including Ladies in the Imperium. That is 12 corps, and I'm just over here like, okay, let's go find 12 more. Let's go do it. Let's have fun. And kind of my thing is, if you are not part of Hounds of Haides, but you are part of the Imperium, if you want to see your corp up here and talking and giving their history and learning more about this ship that is friendship that binds all of us in the Imperium, shoot me a Discord. Like, literally, I will work with anybody, and I am happy to talk and give you the, hey, here's your time. I want you to be talking about history, because I want people who are in high sec, I want the new players to go, hey, nullsec isn't scary like we're told it is. These are people. Hey, we should join these guys. Like, I really and I really want this to be a, hey, look, these guys we're FanFest is very much a getting together of everybody as a group, but in game it's still very, I don't want to say polarized, but goons are still, oh my god, you guys are Iron Machine, you're bad, or the Imperium as a whole, is bad. Oh my god, they're scary. No, we're not scary. Come say hi. Come talk to us. We're people too. And we'll tell you history. We'll talk to you. We'll have a good time, and come fly with us. Come have some fun. So, Mr. Michio, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for being willing to come and talk to me about your corp, and I absolutely I love all of the little like pieces and everything. It's fantastic.
No, awesome. Thank you very much. Like I say, I really appreciate it. And yeah, lots of love to all the rest of the Imperium as well. Great place to be.
Right, and with that, I am going to go ahead and switch to our end screen. Thank you, Dr. Doomsday. I appreciate it, sir. I will go ahead, switch it to our end screen. With that, I am going to go ahead and raid out. I might be back in a little bit. I haven't fully decided. But right now, we're going to raid out and go find a goon Imperium member. We're going to go find somebody. We might see if our friend from Shadow is streaming today, because I know we have one of those. I know we have at least one of those. And they're around somewhere. I just don't know if they're online right now. But we're going to go and pop out and see. And I just want to thank everybody for coming. And thank you for having a good time. Oh, there's a... Ooh, that's not... Okay, I'm... Oh, yes, there he is. There is our shadow friend. Alright. So, with that, we are going to go raid, I believe, our friend in Shadow, Mr. Contempo Enterprises, with his duck. and he was in here the other day. We're gonna go and yep, we're gonna go raid Shadow. We wanna keep it in the family, and I just want to say have a good afternoon, have a good evening, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow.